Welcome to my madness, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Kitbash Ultimate Thor from Marvel Comics Ultimate Universe, part of the Ultimates or Ultimate Avengers, whatever you want to call them. And the inspiration for this was kind of the new Ultimate Captain America that we got here a month or so ago, whatever that was. And I really liked Ultimate Comics. I really did. I thought the Marvel Ultimate stuff was done really well. I loved the Ultimates comic, and I wanted to start to put together a team. And so Thor, obviously one of the main members of the team, wanted to get him done, and this is what I came up with. And it is by no means perfect. I've seen some great customs, way better than this. But I, of course, am just a lowly kit basher, and so I did the best that I could. And so to give you guys the recipe of what this guy is, essentially most of him is this figure right here. Of course, the Infinity War Thor. You can see this is the majority of the body and the majority of what I used here. And then, of course, the head is the older Sentry head. That, I was originally going to use the Thor Love and Thunder head with the long hair, but I realized I wanted to look more comic book and less MCU, so this ended up being the choice that I went with, and I'm really glad I did. And then, of course, for the arms, I went with the Thor Love and Thunder arms. You do have to, redesign, kind of shave down and redesign the pegs that go into the torso, because they are considerably different. But once you kind of whittle them down a little bit with your X-Acto knife and get them just to the right size, they pop right in once you heat up the torso. So that was kind of the basic recipe here, in addition to this particular version, this Ultimate Stormbreaker there, which a friend of mine made and sent to me. He 3D printed that, and then I painted it silver and did the handle wrap on it. That's basically what we have here. Everything else that was done was a little bit of modification and paint, and I'll kind of go through that. One of the big modifications on this guy, getting him to look like this from this here, is, of course, removing the cape. Now this cape and these top two pieces here are all one piece. They are attached on the back by two pegs that sink into the torso, and then these two pegs here actually sink into the torso. So I actually had to cut all of that off, and when you cut it off, you lose these two pieces. And one thing I noticed when I cut them away from the cape was that if you see from the side here how far these kind of stick out from the torso, and it's not really noticeable when he has the cape, but when the cape is not there, it's much more noticeable. So I actually took those off and kind of shaved the back of them down and then glued them back to the torso. On the back, we have the two peg holes, which you can kind of see the remnants of, which I just filled in and then painted over. As far as the rest of him goes, I did redo the boots a little bit. I wanted him to have the silver shin guards and look a little bit worn. And then these straps on the backs of the boots, I painted black, because the way these come, they're just kind of all one color. And then did the boots in brown like that. Then, of course, over the main part of the body here, I just did like a really heavy blue wash over the top of it to give it that kind of blue shine, but yet you can still see the darker color in all the crevices underneath the blue. So it looks kind of like a black wash, but it's the opposite. It was a blue wash that I went over this guy with. Then, of course, redid the belt brown, and then redid all these pieces here. I don't even know what you call these pieces here on Thor's costume, but redid those in a nice bright silver, and that's basically it. So it was some modification here with the Sentry head and the Thor Love and Thunder arms, ripping the cape off, redoing these two pieces here on the front, and 3D printed Stormbreaker, and then some paint. And what we get here is what I think is a pretty good, not a great, but a pretty good Ultimate Thor from the Ultimates. So real quick, I want to show this guy up with my Ultimate Captain America and my Ultimate Iron Man that I put together, and we'll see how he looks. All right, so here we have him up with Ultimate Captain America and my version of Ultimate Iron Man, which I've already done a video on and already put that up on the channel if you want to get into more detail on how I slapped him together. And I think this is a great team right here. This is just the beginning. I've still got to do Hulk, and I have Black Widow, which is going to be very easy, and Hawkeye, and, you know, start to slowly build up my ultimate shelf. But I'm very happy with the way this guy turned out. I think he looked fantastic. And again, other than a little bit of paint and a 3D printed Stormbreaker, I mean, I had all the parts for this guy already. You know, I had a spare Infinity War Thor. I had the extra Sentry head. You could use the Sentry head or the kind of young Thor that came out not too long ago. They share the same head sculpt. Lots of options out there, and you know, it wasn't a very difficult build, and it was a lot of fun, and it adds a new character on my shelf. And this is what I always say, guys, you know, you've got to do stuff that is fun for you and your collection, right? You've got to make things for you, unique for you and your collection, and this is just another way that you can do that with a little bit of paint and a simple kit bash, and you can certainly have some fun. So that is it, guys. Would love to hear what you think down in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and always remember to enjoy your collection.